Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode 670 of the DrunkNerds podcast. I'm host as always. I'm Tyler, and joining me we have the man, the myth, the legend himself, Sir Colonel Gables. What's up, buddy?
I'll tell you what, Tyler, it's been relatively weird being on vacation this past week. Actually, once I get back to work, I would have been off for like about 11 days in a row from work, which is nearly 2 weeks. Uh, During that entire time, I accomplished so many different projects. For viewers watching this podcast right now on YouTube, you may notice that there's a lot of things going on inside the background of this room I'm in that when I came on, Tyler was literally just taking his time for about a few minutes, like, what the fuck's going on here? It's
I
like, are
thought he
you in the new
moved.
room?
Yeah, first I'm like, did he move house and not tell me?
No, 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 no. But what I did was there was a couple different projects I needed to get done, one of which was rearrange the entirety of the furniture inside of my room. So the only thing that didn't move was my TV stand, my TV, my game systems that are there, but bookshelf, bed, let's see, my dog's kennel, which he's sleeping right here, right in front of like the
Nice.
bookshelf and
Yeah.
stuff. Then obviously, like I had a whole bunch of my game stuff that I like my PS5, my Switch games are now right here.
Yeah.
That's another thing that hasn't moved. But in the background, if there's a couple of shadow boxes that are hanging up, and they have a bunch of those little NBA figures that I was showing you guys a couple weeks ago in terms of the whole who I got and this and that. Basically, once I got the Stephon Curry things, I had to try to display them somehow, and I just got this huge ass like shadow box over at
Yeah.
Michael's. They had this buy one get one free type of stuff, so I just get two of them. And now I'm just looking for little miniature NFL figures so I can try to match it alongside.
Oh no. What have you become?
But the only thing that's really in them right now is just a little Josh Allen bobblehead I have on top here. He's just on top of the little shadow box. You see him actually right in back of me.
Yeah.
He's a little miniature, but
Yeah.
he's there.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I can see him. Okay. Oh,
But I have no desire right at the moment to just completely fill it. But on top of that, though, I have done a hell of a lot of yard work stuff. I mean, I had to do some sort of physical exercise stuff, but just mostly I just wanted to get individual projects done. I feel like I'm successful at doing that. That also includes gaming stuff. I mean, renewed my subscription to PlayStation Plus. I got into the premium tier. They were having like a 33% off like specific tiers of like full year stuff. So I'm re-upped for a year. I now have access to a lot of the different type of cloud stuff and like some of the games I can just download and play if I want. But I also finished a couple of different games this week. It's kind of like what you would expect though. I've been heavily playing the Marvel, like the Capcom Fighting Collection
gotcha.
2, and so
Okay.
I finished two. I finished one game and I started playing another one today and actually beat the arcade of that one in one sitting. But I also picked up a new game as well. I did pick up Elden Ring Night Rain.
Okay.
So I have that. That's part of the reason why I re-upped for the PlayStation Plus is I'm gonna try to see if I can just play this stupid thing like online with people and see how that goes.
Yeah.
But other than that, though, I mean, I've just been doing a little bit of everything on my vacation. But enough about me, Tyler. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. No, clanging and banging as always. I went to go grab a beer before we got on here, and I realized, shit, I am out of beer. But good news is, Gables, I've had this bottle of Tito's in my freezer for like 3 years now. And I finally drank the end of it. It's like it's gone now. There's like a little bit at the bottom there. So I drank a little bit before we started recording,
Huh.
and I was like, oh, there's not very much in there. I might as well just dump in the rest. There was like 3 shots still in there. So I just and I'm mixing it with one of my favorites here, Powerade Zero Fruit Punch. It's my buddy. He named it I believe the Yankee Doodle is what he calls it. He used to
The Dinky
uh,
Doodle.
Yankee Doodle. That's what it was. Thank you. Yeah, we a buddy of ours used to make it all the time, and he was like, it's really good. And it's like, and that like we like make fun of him for it, and then we all tried it. It's like, actually, no, this is pretty good. It's like, it's not bad. So I'm drinking a Powerade Zero Fruit Punch with Tito's vodka. So yeah, I've tried. I put one ice cube in here to kind of keep it cold. So I apologize for the clinking, but I didn't put a bunch in there because I didn't want obviously too much clinking. But no, I'm doing all right. You know, clanging and banging as always. Like I said, it's been a week. You know, I had a nice little 5-day week, but you know, still kind of crazy though. But you sounds like your vacation was a lot more productive than mine. I just sat on the couch a lot. Took my dog for some walks and sat on the couch and played a bunch of Doom. But yeah, no, I'm doing all right. It's Gables. It's weird. It's very weird that like I know this is like the most talked about topic, and we actually it's like I hear everybody talking about it, and yeah, we haven't talked about it. We probably should do that. Where like it's crazy that this is if everything goes to plan, Gables, this will be the last week that we do a podcast not without owning a Switch 2. Gable saw my live reaction to I have 2 pre-ordered through Walmart. Gable saw my live reaction of me getting the alert that they are shipping my Walmart ones, and my Best Buy one I still haven't got from. So I've talked about I got 3 coming. I'm not scalping them. I just because it's been I was worried that stuff would get canceled, and I've been seeing there's been people online saying that they're being canceled. So I'm like, as long as one I have 3 different versions coming. I have a Best Buy bundle that comes with a physical copy of Mario Kart. I have the Mario Kart bundle, the $500 one, and I have the $450 Switch 2 version. I'm like, as long as one of those 3 come, I don't care. I just want to have one. Honestly, it'd be easier if 2 got canceled and 1 showed up, because then I don't have to deal with the hassle of talking to people, and I just get stressed. It's trying to talk to people about money is always stressful. So yeah, but I'm doing all right, you know. But it's crazy that like you know that's coming next week, and then also Summer Game Fest is on Friday, and then we have the Xbox Showcase on Sunday. It's just like my God, next week is insane. And it's like it's weird because like I'm looking forward to them because I always look forward to it, but I'm not like super ecstatic for it. You know, it's almost like I think it's partially because like I'm very busy right now with like work and stuff, but then it's just like it's almost like too much is happening at once. Where I'm like I don't have time to do one of these things. And there's like all these things are hitting at one time. It's like I'm just like I'm like, well, I have enough time to actually like sit down and play the Switch and Mario Kart, get a decent amount of playtime before we record next weekend. But I'm like, well, actually, how the fuck are we going to record next? Like, when are we going to record next weekend? Because we have Summer Game Fest. But then also we have an Xbox Showcase on Sunday. So I'm like, what are we going to do? How's this recording going to work? I have no idea, Gable. So we got to figure that out. I meant to do that before the podcast, and then we end up spending a bunch of time on NFLShop.com, looking up Tommy Bahama shirts. That's It's funny. Like I almost wonder if we should just like start recording the pre-show because sometimes it's more fascinating than the actual show. Because like it's just like we just get like we like go down dumbass rabbit holes. We can almost do like a weird internet exploring show where we just go online and just like it's our normal conversations, and it somehow leads to us watching dumb YouTube videos online, or going on random shops.
That actually would be pretty fun, you know, like kind of like doing like a little bit of reaction stuff. It doesn't necessarily have to be just like sports related stuff. It could be like say wrestling stuff. It could be like video game stuff. I mean, it could just be like just random, just reacts to whatever. I mean, I'm open to that.
Gable's seen my reaction a few months ago when the Luka Doncic trade happened, and I wish I had that recording
in the middle of the show.
No, it was before the show.
It was was it before?
It was before, and I was like, God damn it, we were getting ready to record. I'm like, fuck, because Gables thought I was having a heart attack. So, and then my reaction to my Switch 2 pre-orders shipping, before a little before the show.
Well, I could probably do like a little reenactment from the whole Lucas stuff. You're like, what?
I just kept screaming, "What the fuck?" over and over again. I was looking. I got on my Apple Watch first, and I was like, "What the fuck?" And I didn't say anything. So then I picked up my phone, and then I got 3 alerts in a row of that, and I just kept screaming, "What the fuck?" And you're like, "What?" And I just kept screaming, "What the fuck?" And you're like, "What?" Like, so Gables was panicking because he has no idea what's happening. So he's like, and you can't tell by my reaction. Like, is this the worst news possible or good news? Like, no idea. Did Sydney Sweeney just text me? Who knows? You know, like did someone hit the second tower? Who knows? It could be anywhere between. It was Gables. I know Gables. Okay. Gables loves my 9/11 humor. It's his favorite thing about me. I made a 9/11 joke at dinner with my parents the other day, and my mom got for the first time in a long time. I got the middle name. Probably since I've been an adult, I got the middle name. She's like, that's not funny.
Well, you messed up.
I mean, I thought it was funny. But anyways, What is this podcast again? Anyways, this is the we're 10 minutes in. We should probably get to the podcast. This is the Drunk Nerds podcast where Gables and I get together every week and talk about video games, everything we love about them, and everything in between. We're two friends. We've been doing this for over 12 years now. We can say that. Last week was our 12th anniversary. We have full-time jobs. We do this because we love it. We love video games. So if you guys want to support us, we don't we do actually have on YouTube now. We hit enough subscribers that we can have memberships. It is only 99 cents to join us. We don't have any extra benefits to offer you. It's just this is the only way to actually directly help us in any sort of way. So if you want to send us $1, you can subscribe or join us. I think is what it is, a membership on the Drunk Nerds YouTube channel. There is a link down below if you're listening to us. If you're watching us on YouTube, please hit that like button, subscribe to us, click the bell if you want to. I never do, but if you want to, you can do that. Also, if you're listening, or if you're on YouTube, you want to support us in other places, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever podcasts are on, we're on all those places. Subscribe to us there. Even if you don't listen to us there, if you can just subscribe, maybe download the podcast, 5-star review, leave the comments, whatever you can do, that would really help us out.
We appreciate anything, and at this point, I mean, a lot of you guys have been listening to us for a long time. I know there's a special few of you that have been listening to us ever since we were ever since we were say Gen Gaming stuff, and even before that, I mean, we definitely do have a couple of diehards that have been listening to us since the very beginning, 12 years ago, which is insane to think about. But at the same point, listeners, we thank you humbly for tuning in to us either on YouTube or on their podcast of your iPhone or your Android device, or hell, who knows, maybe on a Vita. Who knows?
Oh my god, that'd be awesome. Somehow you're listening to us on a Vita. Please let us know. That'd be great. Yeah, but if you guys can help us out, we appreciate it. We like I said, we just do this because we love it. So if really just the support is nice, and that's what we want. But yeah, let's jump into the actual show itself. Gables, kind of a weird week. I was expecting a lot more. Usually we start hearing some reports and leaks, or we start actually getting information about what's going to be happening at Summer Game Fest, and there really hasn't been a lot of Xbox leaks. There really hasn't been a lot of. I don't even think Ubisoft hasn't even said they're doing something this year. I think it's literally Day of the Devs is going to be there. Summer Game Fest, Xbox, and then not Digital Foundry. What's the Devolver Digital? Sorry, will be there. I think on Saturday. I want to say they're doing a thing which will be awesome. They're always entertaining. It's been a weird one. It's been a weird year, building up to because it doesn't feel like it's happening, and also it was just there hasn't been a lot of news. Kind of weird overall. So it's usually we would do predictions or what do you think is gonna happen. And it's just I don't even know, we really can't do one this year because it's we don't really have there hasn't been any real leaks. So
It hasn't.
Actually, there's been one potential leak here. So we're going to this is going to be the topic number 2. We're going to make this topic number 1. This article is from Video Games Chronicles, VGC.com. But so obviously there's been all the reports and the leaks and the rumors and stuff about a Persona 4 remake, Gables. Oddly enough, Yuri Lowenthal, who played Yosaka, I believe. Yosuke. Okay, thank you. Aaron came out and said he begged and he wanted to come back to play that character again, but he would not be reprising the role, which, okay, that happens. But the game has not been revealed yet, so that was very weird. And then I think later that night or the next day, Aaron Fitzgerald, who played the voice of Chie. Okay, wow, these look nothing like how they sound. But she said she wouldn't be back for that. She said people have been asking. And then Amanda Lee, the next day, I believe it was, came out and said she would not be coming back as Yukiko. Yukiko?
Yeah, Yukiko. Yeah.
Okay, well, cool. I got one. All right, cool. It's like Pokemon. I just can't do it. What
about Johnny Bosch?
What?
Johnny Young Bosch.
Is that a Dragon Ball thing or is that a Pokemon thing?
No. He's a voice actor. He's actually was, with the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, he was the replacement for Zack as the Black Ranger.
Gotcha. Okay.
On top of that, he also voiced predominant roles. He was Nero inside Devil May Cry 4 and I think DMC 5. And also he was, oh my god, he's the voice of the anime lead Ichigo Kurosaki from Bleach.
Oh
So
man.
that's pretty much what he's known for
Okay.
nowadays. But yeah, he's been around and stuff. I'm kind of curious because if he's not the lead person, for maintaining like the main character, his name is Yu, like
Okay.
YU.
Okay. Yeah, I would definitely want to watch that one somehow too. Um, well, so what's interesting is people point out Persona 3 Reload had all new voice actors for that game, which I didn't know beforehand.
Yeah.
Probably in some of these characters, like Yuri Lowenthal is much more popular than what he was back in this era. He's Spider-Man now. So probably the cost of some of these people have gone up in that time frame. So they probably
Mhm.
want, and also, I mean, new generation probably want to just have different people. But somebody else pointed out the same point though that these announcements are coming from these people in the same, I guess, same order as which they join your party, which is kind of funny that the orders of the people announcing this. But I don't know if that's a thing that's
Mhm.
happening or if it's just like a coincidence. But obviously, what's interesting here is the fact that this game was not actually announced, and this is already happening. So I mean, it felt pretty good this was going to happen already. Now it sounds even more likely. So Persona 3 Reloaded was announced at a Xbox event a couple of years ago. Actually, was that
Yes, it was.
2023? Yeah, so 2 years ago. Gables, how are we feeling about this baby about 10 days from now, 9 days from now? This might actually be happening.
This is a strong chance this is going to happen, Tyler. And I'll tell you this right now. With Persona 3 Reload, all the circumstances involving that, I mean, this is not out of the realm of possibility. I mean, like you just mentioned, a lot of the voice actors from that initial game weren't retained for that. As a matter of fact, when it comes to Persona 4, this would be like the third, I want to say, iteration for like Persona 4, because you have the PS2 version of it, which actually did have a different voice actress for Chie
Yeah,
inside of that as
this be
well
the third
before.
one. I did hear that. This is
This would be this is the third one because you got
yeah.
the original one that was on the PS2. I bought that one at launch. That's kind of hilarious when I think about it for the PS2. I got let's see, we got Persona 4 Golden. That was a PS Vita exclusive up until like at least a couple of years ago now.
Yeah.
And this would be the third, like a Persona 4 like remaster. That would be fine. That would be fine. I mean, as far as the odds, yeah, I'm still thinking that it's a strong chance we're probably going to see it inside of not. I wouldn't know if it's going to be Microsoft's thing,
Well,
but
they
I'm
did.
just
Yeah.
probably
Well,
something in general.
because in 2022 they had the 3, 4, and 5 coming to Game Pass when they did the HD
Yeah,
remasters, and then in 2023 they had the ReFantazio like metaphor. They had the I
you're
think
right. Yeah,
the advertising rights for that one, and then they also announced Persona. Well, Reload. Remember, it leaked like they accidentally put it up on like YouTube or something like 3 days before, so all that leaked out. So I wouldn't be. I don't know. I mean, hopefully it doesn't leak out. I mean, but obviously it's leaked out. But the announcement, it'd be nice to like actually
well,
see it revealed the way it's supposed to be.
here's something that I know it's not going to happen, but it would be incredibly exciting if this is something that has happened. Wouldn't it be funny if not only it's the Microsoft announcement, but it comes to Game Pass and it's released day one?
I mean, that'd be awesome. I mean,
um,
that's
it'd be
Reload.
awesome.
Yeah.
I would fucking drop everything and fucking play that game because
Yeah. I
I know
mean,
Persona 4 is an excellent game.
Metaphor just came to Game Pass this week, so
I know.
I mean, not the craziest
Coincidence.
thing. Yeah. I mean, as you know, I've never played an Atlas game before, and I played Reload and Metaphor. Well,
Fantasio.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, I played Catherine at launch when that came out a long time ago, and I love that game. But as
So
far as
that's
like the
three.
what?
So that's like what, three Atlas
Yeah,
games, I think. Yeah.
yeah. So, but like these like the first like big time Atlas games. These are the first time I played them this year, and like I think Metaphor was like number 10 on my list, and Reload was number 2 on my list for Game of the Year last year. So really love those games. So I'm excited
Cool.
for 4. That will be my that might be my post laid off game I play if that comes out this year. I'll play that in like September or something. If it assuming it happens, that would be. Well, I guess Reload got announced in June 2023 and came out in like
Oh,
February.
dude.
So
You're going to absolutely love the battle theme for Persona 4.
yeah, I don't even want to know it. I've heard people talk about it. And I'm like, I want to know nothing about it. So I'm excited to
It's
check it out.
best if you know nothing about it going in because
I just know there's a TV involved. So I heard people talking about like they can call it like rewatch or something like that, or remote or something like
Rewatch
that.
would be a perfect name
Yeah,
because, yeah, it involves a TV.
yeah, rewind or something maybe. Yeah,
Persona
if they
4
keep
Rewind.
if they keep the re in there, kind of like what Final Fantasy's doing with the remake and rebirth, I guess too. Yeah, it's just very weird that the circumstances is happening. It's like it's kind of sad, but it's like when you then you're like, oh, okay, well this happened last time, but it's just like, all right, yeah, so like obviously this is happening, but I'm excited, yeah, because like I mean those Persona, they had the HD ports that came to Game Pass a couple years ago, and I'm like,
Yes.
after playing after playing 3 Reload, I'm like, I might want to check out 4 Golden. And I'm like, well, I kind of like all the modern improvements they made to 3. I don't know if I'd like to play 4 like how it was. So I definitely will just like wait for the more modern day version of it. If it's as good as Reload was, I'll love it. So
You definitely play the most approachable version of Persona 3, though, because if you were going to be playing something reminiscent of the PS2 version, let's just say the dungeons got to work a little bit differently.
yeah, oh god, yeah, the Tartarus stuff, that was awful. As much as I love that game, man, by the end I'm like, this sucks. Yeah, I mean, I love the game. I did everything except for I almost 100% of the game. All I had to do was I had every achievement except for the one where you need to. I had to get all the social links. That was the only thing I didn't do. Yeah, let's move on though to our next topic here, Gables. This is kind of everything's going looking up Gables right now. We got another fun announcement for Gables here. Pokemon Legends ZA got a release date of October 16th. Some more updates we got along with it. There will be a Switch 1 and 2 version, which I think we already knew that. Well, we at least knew there's a Switch 1 version. Not a shock we're getting a 2 version. They did say the Switch 2 version will have improved frame rate and higher resolution with sharper graphics. And then there will also be a Pokemon Presents on July 22nd. So, Gables, kind of what was your thoughts when we got this information?
Honestly, I'm fairly glad that we actually got a release date for Z through A. That's been something that we had been speculating would come out near the end of the year. But just to confirm, October 26th, two
October 16th.
versions. What's that?
16th.
16th, sorry. 16th. But yeah, a couple different versions and stuff, obviously. But when I'm thinking about that, I'm thinking about the friggin' price of it too, which is probably going to be like a $70 or $80 game.
Yeah, and there will be an
Probably
upgrade
70.
charge if you buy a Switch 1 version. There is an upgrade charge to go up to the Switch 2 version, they said.
But I'm more curious about the Pokemon Direct that's going to be coming out. I wonder if it's predominantly going to be just kind of the same as we had been getting in terms of updates for the mobile stuff. The whole, oh god, I know they were completely done with like Scarlet and Violet stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
that's just something, they're going to be more or less probably teasing at this point for the next generation, probably coming out in the next year or two.
Yeah.
But on top of that, what I'm really expecting from this kind of Pokemon like Direct in July, I'm expecting updates to games like say Pokemon Cafe, like I don't know about Pokemon Unite. I think that one's going to be pretty close to ending its services fairly soon. But
Well, they just started a new season, didn't they?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. But yeah, I really am expecting just to get a lot of the same stuff. But on top of that, there's probably going to be some major, maybe TCG, like pocket TCG like stuff. Because
Yeah.
I know that they've been fairly consistent, the Pokemon Company, and refreshing. Like, I kid you not, every couple of months, it feels like they put out a new set in terms of the trading card stuff. And, the random pulls and this and that. And the last one that I went through, they had like about I had like about saved up enough to do like about 40 or 50 packs.
Jesus.
And I did end up getting a bunch of different ones and stuff. But what I really would love to see, I really want to see what they will do in terms of the NSO stuff. I mean, that's something I've been waiting for, really. Because you got the subsidiary Pokemon games that are on the NSO right now, with Pokemon Coliseum 1 and 2. They have teased Pokemon Coliseum and like Pokemon like XD, Gales of Darkness XD and stuff for the GameCube.
Yeah.
The GameCube ones and stuff. And one thing that we haven't heard much about that was showcased in the last Pokemon Direct was that whole like Pokemon like competition sort of app, sort of similar to Stadium.
Oh yeah, I totally forgot about that. I thought they
Yeah,
said it was
that whole
going
competitive
next
style.
year though, wasn't it? Maybe it's this year.
Possibly.
Can't remember now.
It's been so long. The informations are kind of still a little bit fuzzy for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, we haven't heard too much about that. I mean, I would expect we'd hear something along the lines from there.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I mean,
it's exciting,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, do we normally get more than one a year for presents? Pokemon Presents?
For Pokemon Presents, we normally get like about maybe one at least a
Yeah.
year.
So I'm wondering if this will be almost entirely focused on Legends ZA. I'm
You
not
would think,
expecting.
right?
I mean, I'm not expecting a tease for Gen 10 because like that'll probably be the big thing next year for the 30th anniversary. Um, but yeah, like I wouldn't be shocked. Like they're definitely gonna put like yeah, they're gonna put the shit up front with like the stuff you don't care about. Like here's more stuff we can sell you, you know, and like some small updates to Pokemon
Hmm.
Cafe Mix or whatever the fuck it's called. Um, yeah, I think that'll just be like a blowout for like what this game is. I think it's interesting the timing of which they announced this of the date. It's very weird that we see this more often now. Where like randomly they just like we see like Xbox and PlayStation and Nintendo just like they'll like reveal these games at like directs or state of plays or whatever, but then like they just announce the date randomly online like that with a blog post. It's just very weird that like we seen that with like um, Xbox announces the Gears of War Reloaded or whatever it's being called. It's coming out in
Hmm.
August, you know, August 26th or whatever it
Yes.
was. Like PlayStation announced Ghost of Yote is coming October 2nd, on a blog post randomly a few weeks ago. And now this gets, it's just weird how that's like, we have all these like major like directs and state of plays and they do all these like big beats all the time now. And it's just like, but then we get like the date, the thing we want the most, we get the date and it's like, they just post it like on a blog. It's just very weird. Um, Even though we know they have like big like we know a Nintendo Direct is coming, we know a state of play is coming in like the next few weeks.
Hmm.
Xbox has a showcase literally next week. It's just very weird how that works out. But I was thinking about, I'm like, why would they do it? And like I was thinking about it. I'm like, I guess it kind of maybe it makes sense of like the way they look at it is like, okay, like we don't typically get Pokemon stuff at Nintendo Directs. They usually keep them for themselves. Like maybe we'll
Normally.
get like this maybe the side stuff like the Pokemon with like the Pokemon Ranger games or the Mystery Dungeon, whatever the hell they're called. Like those games might show up there, like these small side things. But so I'm guessing maybe like, all right, cool. The Switch 2 is coming next week. There's probably gonna be a Nintendo Direct in the next few weeks. So they're like, let's get the date out there now, so that way we can because they're probably gonna announce a lot of dates at this next Nintendo Direct.
Hmm.
That's set in stone. We know when that's coming, and now we can just lay out the rest of it, and people like that way consumers know and like can plan things out a little bit more. That's my assumption for that. I think the date's interesting though because typically Pokemon is like you can set your watch to it. It's the Friday before Thanksgiving all the time, like every year. Like no matter what's coming, like that thing will come out on the same day as the biggest game of the year. If they don't care, they'll come out that same day. They don't doesn't matter to them. Um, so I'm a little surprised by that. It makes me wonder, like, okay, what's Nintendo got? What's the big Nintendo thing gonna be this year? And I don't know. I'm like, obviously we talked about last week, like our direct kind of like predictions at that point, and like, I don't know. You look at like, okay, this is coming October. What I mean, you look at July's got Donkey Kong. August is empty. September and November and December too. If they want to put something like we still got, you can start. Maybe we won't know the order, but you look at like okay, Kirby Air Rider, Hyrule Warriors, Metro Prime 4, all are said to be this year. You can put those in those months. We do. I know we have like I think like the Mario Party uh, Switch 2 thing, Jamboree, whatever it's called, is coming in like late July. I think the
Right.
Kirby and the Forgotten Lands upgrade thing is coming in August. So like, all right, they do have those things coming. It's kind of like we get like the Horizon Zero Dawn remaster or the Days Gone remaster. Cool, we're just filling in gaps there. So I'm guessing like they must have something like that. I'm almost wondering like what's of like those games like I don't know. I mean I'm like I'm, is Hyrule Warriors got big November game this year? It's like that is that the like I know it's Zelda, but it's not doesn't have Zelda in the title or it's not in the title of
Right.
the game. So if I'm like I don't know, like or is Metroid to them the big November game? Like that's kind of ballsy to me. They put Metroid in November, like because I mean like yeah I know people love Metroid, but it's not like the biggest uh, franchise out there. So but I don't know. I mean Gables like um, what was your thinking be like? What could be the big November game this year for Nintendo? Which one will we know? Or is it something we don't
Between
know?
what between what we know at this moment in time, I think there's something more that Nintendo has not even like let us know about because I don't believe they're gonna be putting Metroid in November. I think this is gonna be like an early October game if I had to make a guess.
Yeah.
But I think it's something that we probably don't know about too much. I think, and this is me going out on a limb and stretching this, but My thought is they'll reveal the remake of Ocarina of Time and release it in November.
Ooh, okay. Well, I don't think I don't think that because we got Hyrule Warriors coming. They usually want to do
Right.
one every fiscal year.
Right.
I think this is that fiscal year one. Sorry, I got a cough.
Right, I
um,
understand that, but at the same time, when you look at the last initial Hyrule Warriors game, it didn't really do too well, like in terms of like say critical reviews
yeah,
and stuff
Age of
like that. But
Calamity.
at the same time, it did sell a little bit of stuff. But for this one, I'm not sure if they will just settle just for the Hyrule Warriors like initial game that they had going on, you know.
Yeah,
But
yeah. I mean,
could be wrong.
yeah. I mean, well, I was thinking about. I went back and looked, and like, Age of Calamity was that November game that year. I think that was
Hmm.
2021. No, that was 2020. My God, we're so old.
Yeah.
Um, but Gables, we were in our early 30s when that game came out. Uh, now we're getting close to the late 30s.
Uh,
But yeah, I don't. I can almost see it just because like I mean like I don't know. Like because I feel like as a franchise, like Hyrule Warriors might be more even though I know it's not. It's a Zelda game, but it doesn't have Zelda in the title. I almost wonder if it's probably the biggest game from like a mainstream standpoint. Point. And also we don't really like I don't know like I think we'll have a pretty good idea what's coming the rest of the year after this week, or at least as far as dates go. After when after Xbox and Summer Game Fest. Um, so yeah, I don't know. I think Metro would be better off as like a September kind of game. Like or yeah, like October would even be fine. But like something like earlier the better probably for them. But I guess you look at like August is getting pretty packed already. September is looking pretty decent. Like it's already looking like a pretty good rest of the year.
it
Despite
does.
like it doesn't feel like we have a lot announced, but there's like it doesn't there's not like a lot of like a huge amount of games announced, but like what is announced and has dates right now is pretty good. It's like my God, this is a pretty good year, and that doesn't even before we get to like AA games and indie games and shit. So I don't know. It's interesting. I'm kind of like I almost don't want them to like announce any more games for this year because like I mean we've basically got like enough for like one a month for the rest of the year. And I'd almost rather them save. They have like big stuff coming. I'd almost rather they save it for next year because like I'd hate like
Right.
the like shoehorn a bunch of stuff in this year and then like we have like a big gap next year. Like I'd rather they space it a little bit more. For my
Yeah,
wallet.
I don't think we have to worry too much about it. I mean, if anything, Nintendo's learned from the release of the Switch system and stuff. They had a lot of games ready in the pipeline in terms of like the first initial few years and stuff for this thing.
Yeah,
But with Switch 2, it kind of looks like something similar to like what the Switch did initially, to where we did have some big ol' initial games. Like at launch, it was substantially supported and stuff towards the end of the year and stuff. Give or take a couple of different things that we were showcased in the E3 of that initial
mm.
year and stuff. But
Yeah. I
yeah,
mean,
I think we're gonna be seeing a lot more in terms of for at least for this year and then partial like next year.
yeah. I mean, I think the first 18 months or so will be fine. And we've seen that with like the Xbox and or more PlayStation 5. Like the first like couple of years is really good. Now we've started to see the last couple of years like okay, we're getting like instead of getting 3 or 4 games a year, we're getting like 1 or 2. And like Nintendo themselves like talked about openly about how they're hitting the same point of like their games are taking longer than they used to before. How we've seen Tears of Kingdom took 6 years between games. Yeah, six
Yep.
years. So I mean,
Yep.
like,
6 years.
and a lot of that, there's a lot of reused stuff from the first game. I'm not saying it's just DLC. I'm not saying it at all, but there's a lot of stuff they reused from the first game for that one. And I mean, they like I said, they talked about like their games are taking longer, and the reports was the reason the Switch got delayed from last year to this year was because the games they had were not going to be ready in time. So they give their games more time. So
Mm.
I do wonder in that sense. Like I don't expect like a bit. And plus, obviously, we talked about already. Like they don't have a whole like last generation of games that no one played, so they can resell them to us again, like they did before. I know
Yeah.
we have like the upgrade stuff, but um, I think it'll be. I'm not worried about like we're gonna have like it's not like in Nintendo 64 or GameCube era where we were going like or like the Wii U era where we felt like we were going like 8-9 months at a time between Nintendo games or at least big ones. But yeah, I don't know. I would almost rather, but like I said, I'd rather like, especially in the fall, like a lot of stuff comes out. I would almost be fine with like spreading it out because like I mean I'm already looking at the fall and it's like there's a lot of stuff here I want to play and I don't have time for already. Like it's like I don't need more. So like honestly, like the more we can push off the next year, the better. Um, yeah, let's move on to our probably this is like really our last topic here. Another sad one, just more same bullshit we've been seeing. EA announced that they're canceling the Black Panther game, and then they're actually closing the entire studio Cliffhanger that they just created 4 years ago, and from its former Monolith like heads at Monolith that created like Shadow of War and the Nemesis system and stuff like that. They not only, like I said, canceled it, but they closed the studio. There's about somewhere between 300 and 400 employees that were laid off. Jason Schreier had a report out basically from Bloomberg about kind of what happens. He's usually especially when it comes to EA, but he's really good about like whenever something crazy happens at EA, you can always count on a big Jason Schreier report about like what went wrong and like what happened. Basically, this is a case of like the game was still in pre-production, and they like part of the frustration was EA wanted to be further along, even though they are like were passing every goal, like like that, like they have like goals they got to hit to get going, and they just passed the goal in March to then really begin production, like actually starting real production of this game, and actually start hiring up people. So like a lot of crazy shit's going on here. So they're upset the game was still in pre-production, but the studio was still hiring up because this isn't just a case of like, like all right, this team finished a new game, this last game, and now they're moving on to the next thing. This is like literally they're building a studio from the ground up. So that was a big part of it. Another part of it too was that about a month ago, EA got rid of like remote working. So they wanted everybody in office. So it went from okay, now we can hire people and you can stay where you are to like now you got to move to it's like near Seattle where the cost of living is way higher. So like people were like, well, if I got to move to here, I want a cost of living raise. So that was an issue. Understandably so, though, if you're a person that got a job and maybe you live fucking, I don't know, Nevada or across the country or whatever, and like you're making a salary that's a good salary for where you live, and now you have to go move to a place where it's way more money. I think it's fair to ask, hey, you changed the policy on me, I deserve more money. So that was an issue of like now they're having trouble hiring staff because people don't want to move, to Seattle or all that. And then on top of that, most of the people that got laid off had only been there for a few weeks or a couple months. So this is a studio that was rapidly hiring up, and the majority of the people that they got, like, no, I shouldn't say majority, but they said a good amount of the people, sounds like around half, maybe more, maybe a little less, were people that have literally only been there a couple months. So hopefully none of those people actually moved cross states to this job to then be immediately laid off. But it's now one of those cases of like, we literally just went through this about 2 months ago when they had a bunch of layoffs. They laid off like 700 people just a couple months ago, cancel a bunch of major IP games, some Star Wars games. They like got rid of the World Rally car. They bought Codemasters for over $1 billion a couple years ago, who does the World Rally car racing games. And then they like put a pause on Codemasters making the game, which is what they've been doing for 30 years. Like basically like all these like IP things that they've been making, they put like a pause on that. Even though it's like I said this a couple years ago, like after like Dead Space to them didn't sell as well as they wanted to, and then a few months later, Star Wars Jedi Survivor was a big success for them. They're like, cool, we are doubling down on big IPs, and like it is a bigger risk, and it's a lot harder to create their own IPs from the ground up, which technically true, and I can understand that. It's just easier and it's more reliable. Like you have the floor is a lot higher when you just pay to get an IP than creating your own. And also the ceiling can be potentially a lot higher, but you got to pay more because the people you get the IP from, they're gonna take their cut on top of whatever. So they like double down on all like we're just gonna do big IP stuff. So they like hired up, they like created these new studios like Cliffhanger, bought these like studios like Codemasters to do World Rally Kart racing games. They had like a bunch of like cool. We signed a 3-game deal with Marvel. We're gonna make a ton of Star Wars games. And like about 18 months later, Andrew Wilson's like, well, IPs are a major risk, and they're just it costs more money because we have to pay for the IP. So we're gonna focus on our own IP. So before we talk all the time, like games take longer than ever to make before. But then before you even put out a game to do this new strategy, you started to put in, you like, actually, we're not gonna do that strategy. And like I said this multiple times now, for like a year, for over a year now. I'm like, okay, like I get that. Like if you have a couple like a couple bad games to come out, okay, I get that. Like, all right, no, that strategy didn't work out. You didn't put a game out. You didn't do anything. You just like, we're doing this, and you're like, you know what? Never mind, we're doing that. But it's like you don't have like, EA is built on the IPs of other things. Look at everything that EA has right now, except for Apex Legends, which has peaked, and it's like it's still very successful, but it is like definitely, it has peaked, and it's a slow decline now of what it was. Um, we are at the point like everything they do is off big IPs. Like what other than Hazelight Studios, which is a smaller studio, but I'm like Madden, FIFA, EA, whatever the fuck it's called now. You look at fucking, I mean, the NBA games from back in the day. They used to make all these movie tie-in games. That was what they did. That's what they do. And it's like, I don't understand. I don't understand what EA is doing. I, I've said this a long time ago. Like, you look at Activision, you look at Ubisoft, you look at all these studios. Like, Ubisoft is like this. Like, there's no difference between. Like, I said this about a long time ago, a couple years ago about Square Enix. Like, Square Enix would be fucked if they didn't have Final Fantasy 14. Like, Activision is definitely like, they had to sell the studio because that company was fucked, because all they had was Call of Duty, and they built this thing that they had to like get rid of everything else to keep that thing going, the machine of Call of Duty going. You look at EA. EA would be fucked if they didn't have FIFA and they or what EAFC and Madden, and then now college football. And it's like Ubisoft like is no different. They're no different than Ubisoft, but just Ubisoft doesn't have this gigantic thing that kind of keeps them afloat. You know, and it's like I just don't understand what the fuck we're doing anymore. Like what are these? What is the like? They don't have a plan. I don't think there is a plan. I think they're just. It's like I talk about all the time. It's like they are just looking at the next 3 months from now. They live a quarter at a time, not a quarter mile at a time. They're no Vin Diesel. They're no Dominic Toretto. They just live a financial quarter at a time. Gables, I ranted for a long time. I apologize. But anything you want to add on all this?
A lot of cost-cutting measures, it seems like to me. I mean, you're not going to go ahead and like just decide to end a project of this type of magnitude for like an IP that's fairly recognizable and stuff without a lot of the various reasons. But still, having some bit of structure in terms of what you want to do with this company and stuff definitely would have helped in terms of developing not only the game, but also in terms of making sure that this game actually came out in a timely manner. You're a major AAA company. There's no reason why you could not have a dedicated structure in terms of what you can do. But in that case and scenario and stuff, we do not know a hell of a lot of the details in terms of what into a lot of these strategies and a lot of the hiring practices for these people, or a lot of this, or even for like a lot of like what managerial decisions came into the decision wise in order to lead to a lot of the various layoffs into this stuff. But it's sad though. I mean, a lot of people were looking forward to at least seeing what a Black Panther game would look like in terms of that. Would it be sort of similar to what we've seen before, like say with Spider-Man, but in like Uganda or something like that?
Yeah,
But
Wakanda.
Wakanda, sorry.
Yeah,
Wakanda. Jeez.
yeah,
Well, it just shows, well, listeners, just shows you that I don't really watch too much of like the Black Panther stuff, but at the at the same point though, it's kind of sad though that for superhero games in general, unless you're like kind of like an established superhero thing that you know is going to be luring a lot of people just to try to buy your game, like Batman or like Spider-Man or something like that. If you're not upon that type of level and stuff, I mean, that it just seems like to me not a lot of people are going to invest into it unless it's something of a game that's like at least over the head, sort of like could be profitable for a lot of these major AAA companies. But at the same time, it's people losing their jobs in the games industry. I mean, it sucks.
yeah.
Absolutely. Games industry in terms of stuff, whether it be games journalism or just developers or major companies like just shutting down or something like that, it sucks all the way around. And at the same point, it's like the best thing that we could really do is like just trying to piece together what things have happened and stuff and kind of learn from the remnants of why this came to be in general. And quite honestly, we're probably not going to know a lot of this shit until like we hear much more from the people that were let go in terms of
Yeah.
what went into a lot of these different things.
Yeah, and that's part of like what Jay Schreier in his report was talking about was like you would play as the son as T'Challa, which is the kind of like the I don't know if he's original, but he's like as far as like I've only really seen the movies and I know a little bit from like just reading about the timeline of Black Panther. But you play as a son of the T'Challa in this game, and it would be a fight over like who becomes like the new Black Panther because it passes on through lineage. Um,
Mm.
and it would be like an open world game. They were working on part of the process too was like because Warner Brothers owns the patent to the Nemesis system. They
Right.
were creating their own version of the Nemesis system that would not infringe on that patent. So that was part of the process too. It was like trying to find a way to make this thing. That was part of the selling point. Is like, all right, we gotta build this new system that is entirely our own thing that does not, infringe on theirs. Um, so yeah, that's part of the process too of like what was taking a little bit longer. But I don't know. I mean, yeah, it's like you said, like, um, but I mean, like with like you look at like, I mean, it wasn't that long ago where Spider-Man was not on the level of like a Batman game until 2018, and really Batman wasn't even like big IP superhero games were not really like real like good things until a decade ago.
2008.
2008, 15 years ago. My God, 17 years ago. Oh my God. But yeah, you look at like and like, but no one repeated it until 7 years ago with Spider-Man. Um,
Mm.
and like yeah, like it's like a thing I talk about all the time is like you look at so many major IPs nowadays, or like IPs that we love nowadays, are like huge. That were like that first game that came out was like, it was fine, or maybe it wasn't like it was good, but it wasn't great, or like it sold fine, or not, maybe even mediocre. That came out in like the last 30 years of 40 years of gaming, but because they were able to get more and more shots and got better as they went, like how many franchises or games were like killed after one game or killed after like in the crib because they if we see with these big studios come out and like or these brand new studios come out and put out a big game, like and it's like we like Callisto Protocol like 10 years ago if that game would have came out and I didn't sell great, but like there's a game here, like there's something good here, like it would have got another shot. That game was big enough, it sold okay enough that it would have got a second chance. That isn't gonna happen. That wouldn't happen in today's day. Like Uncharted 1 was not a gigantic success. The reviews were okay on it. And that game was not like you play at the time. Like nowadays, we think of Uncharted 1 as like a lot better than what it actually is.
Right.
You play that game back then, like this game was like a solid 7.5, 8 out of 10 type of game. And it's like we never would have got an Uncharted 2. Like Assassin's Creed the 2, like never would have happened, And it's just like I say this all the time. It's like there's so like we talk about like nowadays, like man, like I would love to have more fresh IPs, and the problem is like these big companies are so scared to take. They want to make more and more money, but they don't want to spend money to make more money.
Right.
So they're so scared to take risks because all they care about is the next financial quarters to keep the stock up, so then they get their bonuses. Um, yeah, it just sucks. Yeah, like I said, Gibbs, it's sad. It's like there's reports now coming out too from other people about the morale at EA from across all the other studios is at just an absolute extreme low. Which, yeah, I don't blame these people because you look at there's been multiple rounds of layoffs already this year. I think there's been 3 different rounds of layoffs at EA, and it's fucking June. It's June 1st at 1:21 a.m. Central Time as of right now recording this, and they've already had 3 rounds of layoffs this year. They've canceled several games. Multiple studios been closed. It's like I can't blame these people. Like how
Right.
could you have? And it's like I mean, especially like this isn't just like working in a factory where you just do the same mundane task. Like these are creative people, and it's like I cannot imagine the stress you're under. Like and also, hey, you got to be extremely creative and think of new ideas and do like this isn't just like like I said, like I'm not no disrespect to people working in factories. I worked in a factory for over a decade, but it's like this is not you're not just doing the same thing over and over again. This is like completely different work. Work I could never do. Yeah, so like I said, it sucks. It sucks all right. It's just we keep having these. It seems like almost every month now we have this like a major company does major rounds of layoffs with no real rhyme or reason for it that makes sense to us. And like the only thing I think of is a few years ago, EA almost merged with NBC Universal. With in the major thing that like kind of stopped it was Andrew Wilson wanted to be the head of the company, and the NBC side did not want him to be the head of the company. So the only thing I think of is like they are trying to make themselves as small as possible because to make it a lot more manageable to purchase, and that's the only thing that can make sense to me. It's like, hey, we have Apex, we have FIFA, and we have Madden and college football. So yeah, I don't know, but it fucking it sucks, like I said. But let's move on. Let's move on to some other news this week. Here, we'll go through this. Gables has to step away for a second. So not like a lot of ton of major stuff here. Like I said, it's almost a little too quiet. What's going on with Summer Game Fest? What's going on with Xbox? But some other small stuff here that we do know about Summer Game Fest is that Kojima will be at Summer Game Fest. I'm sure we'll get some announcements from Jeff Keighley and SGF. Usually I start to like announce some things, like people that will be there. Maybe we'll get some stuff from like some teases from some studios or whatever, and companies as we get closer. But as of right now, I think Kojima is one of the few things that's actually been announced for it, which is a big get. What's interesting though is like Death Stranding 2, we know is coming in June 26th. But it's also like, is it Overdose maybe? The Xbox game? It'd be kind of funny, honestly, if we're literally a few weeks away from Death Stranding 2, and he shows up at SGF to give more details about Overdose. They're a really great thing here. Clear Obscure Expedition 33 sold 3.3 million copies in its first 33 days on the market. So that's really cool, and just like a awesome. That game is selling really well. It's like we talk about like I was just talking about with like EA, and we see all these like studios like get one shot and they fail, and so they're done. It's cool to see this small studio Sandfall come out and fucking knock it out of the park on its first try. And this game they deserve every good thing that happens to them. They deserve it because that game is incredible. Next up here, Injustice 3 apparently might be in development. There's from somebody that went through and like it's been a leaker in the past of like from with like Mortal Kombat and stuff. Like I think usually they leak out like information about like new characters and stuff coming. They kind of did some teases about Injustice 3, so that makes me. I'd actually be really excited because I've actually I'm more of a fan of the Injustice games than I am the Mortal Kombat games. I'm not even like a huge DC guy, but I think those Injustice 1 and 2 I thought were awesome, and I would be excited for a third one. And last but not least here, Gables mentioned he just bought it. He is one of at least 2 million people that bought that game on the first day on the market, so that's pretty cool. That game come out right away and sold. Looks like extremely well. So that's awesome. It seems like the reviews are pretty mixed on it. Like for people, and like I've seen a lot of fans. I heard they're doing an update to make the game a little more palatable for people that are playing it solo. And then like I've also seen people talking about like, oh, why are you gonna play this game solo? Well, I'm like, well, the big marketing push is you can play either one player or three player. So I feel like that it's a fair criticism to say, hey, this game you're marketing as a game you could play single player sucks. So I'm glad they're fixing it. It is funny though that like this game all about being a difficult game. It's like, hey, we're gonna make this game easier for you, which is funny. They did the same thing with the DLC from last year. So let's move on though to what we've been playing here. I'll go first since Gables is still away. I don't have too much more to add. I did finish up Doom: The Dark Ages. Took me probably, I don't know, mid-teens, 15-ish hours, maybe, somewhere in that range. I would want to say. It's hard to say because like my Xbox has 20 hours, but I left that thing sitting for a long period. Like sometimes I just kind of wander off, or you pick up your cell phone, you're just like all of a sudden you're just scrolling. You're like, oh shit, I've been sitting here for 20 minutes. You take the dog for a WALK. I can't say the word because otherwise I'll go nuts. But yeah. Anyways, I finished it up. I did do. I was looking at the achievements. I played on Game Pass, and I did everything. I got all but 3 achievements. I think the 3 achievements that are missing was basically like each level has like 3 challenges. Like it's usually beat the level a certain way, usually using like certain like weapons or something like that. I did the majority of them, but I didn't do all of them. It's like basically the achievements that are missing was like do that, like complete all the missions, and then like I need to literally buy like one more upgrade, which I need to complete all the challenges to get enough money to then buy the last upgrade. I think there was like literally one more upgrade to do. But I found like all the secrets. I found all the toys, so I literally did everything else in like every mission. Found all the gold stuff like that. Literally, that's all I had left to do was do the challenges. But like, yeah. Anyways, I did the same thing with like Doom Eternal and then Doom 2016 as well. But yeah, I absolutely came away really loving this game. I'd still put Doom 2016 as if I had to rank the trilogy here. Doom 2016 is my favorite one. Doom Eternal will be 3 and this will be 2. But yeah, like finished it up. Like I said, 15-ish hours range. But like I definitely was somebody that like I said, I went through and I spent a lot of time searching around. I do like the maps are like really well done as far as like, all right, they do a good job like telling you, all right, there's a secret here or there's something here. And it's like the fun though is like, all right, I know it's here, but I gotta figure out how to do it. So I do like that. Like I'm not like just like bump my head like, okay, maybe there's a secret here. Maybe like no, I know something's here, so I'm not wasting as much time as like like when you play puzzle games, some you like end up walking around like a gigantic room to try to find it. Like the thought there might be like it's like playing like old like Zelda games where you're like hitting the sword against the wall to like hear a different sound. It's not like that.
Right.
But anyways, like really like that. The only complaint really I had maybe was like that like this one actually had like checkpoints throughout the levels. So like as far as like checkpoints of like you can no longer go back to like the level like in like Doom 2016 and stuff like that. Like
Right.
you can go from the beginning of the level all the way to the end, and if you like, oh, should I miss a secret? You can then go back and like till you found it. And this one didn't have it, so there's a couple levels I had to replay to like find. Like I literally missed one thing. Like one of the levels I missed one like literally in the first like room, and the other one I missed. It was like the second to last room. I missed something. I'm like motherfucker. So I had to go like replay the whole level again to find that one thing. But anyways, I really liked it. The game's so fun. I do like how like there's it's weird because like I wish I had more of a balance of like what they did with like Doom Eternal, and what they did with like Doom 2016 and this. Where like and like Doom 2016 is like you pretty much most people just play the game with a shotgun. That was like how you played the game. In this one I mostly played with the shotgun. But I wish there was like a better balance. But like some of the complaints with Eternal was like I said like the platforming elements of like that game forced you to use every weapon because every enemy had like weaknesses to certain weapons. So you were constantly swapping. And I almost like kind of wish that like there was like a better balance we could find between Eternal and this, or like, yeah, like I just got so comfortable with like, it's almost like I guess it's kind of like a lot of other games like when you play an RPG, you find the strategy that works for you, and you reuse it, like rinse, wash, repeat in every battle in every situation. And it's kind of the same thing here, but in a first-person shooter where I'm just like I want to use these new, like some of these weapons are pretty fucking cool. I want like the one that like the Skull Crusher one, like that's a pretty cool weapon. But I'm like, well, the shotgun works totally fine. I don't need to why like, and plus the shotgun does burn damage, and when it does burn damage, like the enemies drop shield, so I have more shields. So I'm constantly getting shield health. So I'm like, why would I use anything else? And that's kind of the issue I ran into. I'm like, well, I'm just gonna parry and use the shotgun over and over again. So I wish there was like maybe there's a balance we're gonna find there. Maybe I guess like to kind of force me out of my comfort zone a little bit more. But I still love the game. That's I don't know. It's a weird complaint like of that. I think like the game's great, but I wish it was like I don't know. Anyways, but yeah, I think the game is so much fun. Like the only thing like I don't think I need please don't bring back the flying missions. I don't like those. Like at least I don't like the flying parts. Luckily you don't do a lot of it, but I don't like it when we do it. The mech stuff was fine. It was cool I think the first 2 times was cool. And then like I think we do it a few more times, but they're always short stretches, which is nice. I'm like I don't whenever they popped up I'm like okay, I guess we're doing this. But yeah, like those were like very small complaints and like the whole process of it. But yeah, I end up really coming away liking this game. That also I can't believe I'm saying this, Gables. I played the majority of this game while listening to podcast, which is insane to me because like the music from Doom and Doom Eternal was like I wanted to play that game on full fucking like the music full fucking blast. And this game like the music was like like just absolutely generic. I couldn't even tell you anything about it. Like there was like moments where I'm like we're going through like cutscene. This really cool thing happens. Like fuck yeah. Like I want to be like let's fucking go. Fuck yeah. But it's like you're waiting for that awesome guitar riff and it just never comes. I'm like god damn.
Oh.
I'm like god damn. I'm like where's Mick Gordon? I need Mick Gordon back. They need to fix this for the next one. If they make a fourth one, they need to fix this problem between the two of them. Because I need Mick Gordon needs to be back for the next one. But yeah, blown away by it. Loved it. It's funny though. I was looking back. This year, I finished 6 games. 4 of them are like games that came out in 2025, and all 4 of
Right.
those games were Game Pass Day 1 games. So that was kind of funny. But yeah, that's all I've been playing. Gables, what about you, buddy?
Okay, so in terms of games that I've been playing mostly the Capcom Fighting Collection 2. I went through the entirety of Power Stone 2. Last week, I think I only went through about half. I did finish up the other 7 fighters, so I have completely completed Power Stone 2. The game is really awesome. I mean, I love the way that it's structured its arcade mode. I really like the structure and emphasis on 4 players in terms of like the battle, kind of like a battle royale sort of style or something, similar to like a Smash Brothers in terms, but in terms of this type of fighter, it's more like an arena fighter to where the stage is just transform in the middle of doing everything instead of like just like a static sort of stage, kind of like the first game had like problems where they have a static stage, and then at near the end of the campaign, which is only like about what 5 stages long or something like that, you get to face off against this kind of a Frankenstein like monster, but you have to go through this corridor and like beat a lot of these different like dummies and stuff like that before you get to the main thing. And the whole thing about the end, the final boss and stuff like that of the arcade mode is you have to hit his head, because if you hit his head enough times, there's a chamber or something that opens up and you have this giant heart that just pops up and you have to beat on its heart and stuff like that until you eventually beat him. The characters play fairly good. And I mean by fairly good, I mean I really loved playing as some of them, like with Rouge. It's the sort of like this Arabian chick or something like that that has a lot of fast attacks, awesome special like fire based like specials and stuff that she can use. In terms of the robot boy Pete, Pete is really funny because it's like he is a kid that's just completely he's a robot and stuff, and he shoots these projectiles, and then when you do his special, he summons like these like almost little like nutcrackers or centurion little soldiers or something that just go and just fire like in unison and stuff. But other than that, though, there was another character by the name of Acel, I think his name was. It's more like a sharpshooter or something. He was at the last character I played through as before I initially completed it. He was fairly fun because he had mostly like range attacks and stuff. And one of the favorite things I love to do inside of this playthrough for Power Stone 2 was I chose a couple different stages over and over again because they had access to turrets, and the turrets helped me eliminate the 3 other opponents so much easier doing it that way as opposed to just trying to melee them all, because the game encourages you to use like the environment around you in order to beat your opponents. So say you'll pick up a weapon like say a plasma rifle or a sword, or you can just go and you can go secure a turret and stuff and just waylay them until eventually you eliminate at least 2 of them. And that's the thing. You can eliminate 2 of them through each stage because they for some reason it retains like 2 fighters and goes on to the next. But yeah, my initial time with Power Stone 2, I really loved this game as opposed to like when I played through and completed the original. I can understand why people have so much great nostalgia for this game back when, and I can understand why people were willing to pay like about $150 or something like that for the physical copy on the Dreamcast. Yeah. Yeah, even like for a loose disc that people are trying to pay for like $100 just for the Dreamcast version of it. And for good reason. It's because this is an excellent party game. This is like an excellent party arena fighter type game. This is like you and your friends, like with 4 Dreamcast controllers playing on your CRT. You know, you get some Pizza Hut or some Domino's or something like that, and you're eating that and just screwing around on a Friday night and totally kicking each other's shit and stuff. But the other game that I had access to play, I had just beat the arcade mode before coming on to the podcast, and that was Plasma Sword. Now, there's a little history with me and Plasma Sword because this is a game I did secure a long time ago at an old workplace I worked at. There was literally a Dreamcast copy of it. I bought it. I played it through, I think, the arcade mode once. And after that, I eventually ended up getting rid of that in a slew of games. And I never really saw that game again up until this collection and stuff. And having a chance to play through the game now with the little bit of the adjustments of the adjustments of like certain modifiers and this and that, I had to at least go through the game on the normal difficulty, which its normal difficulty is 4 stars out of 10. So that was a little bit more in terms of like a difficulty spike as opposed to some of the other ones, which are like at max 2 stars out of 10. Because when you get over into the higher range of stars, it makes it more arcade difficult or just extremely arcade difficult. And I'll tell you what, for those that have played arcade games back in the day, like especially fighting games, trying to get through any type of stuff with a few quarters, yeah, that's next to impossible because the CPU will input read, will cheat, will do anything possible just to suck a couple different quarters out of you. But for Plasma Sword, it is the weirdest fighting game I think I've played in this collection yet. It has to, let's see, be involved like this whole concept of this game. The story revolves around this kind of like tyrannical sort of dictator, like Bilstein, I think its name is. He's sort of like he looks like a samurai and also a robot or something in one. There's all sorts of weird character designs inside of this game. It's a Capcom game from like the early 2000s, so there are some interesting choices in terms of the graphical style and also in terms of the character design. There's like another character by the name of Saturn, and he's kind of like he's so weird. He's humanoid and stuff like that, but he has like an elongated head. He's green and stuff. He's not like an alien or anything, but he's got like this necklace and stuff. And when you're fighting against him, he has a special move to where he'll actually lure you into doing the same dance moves as he's doing and stuff, and it kind of makes you look like you're Michael Jackson dancing.
Hmm.
It's like weird just out of the blue sort of things like that that make this game a little bit more endearing in terms of that. But the gameplay kind of gets you have to get used to it because this is sort of like a 3D fighter sort of because it looks like something out of like old school Tekken to where you have the 3D models, you can move around your opponent kind of like in a 3D escape. You have to press at least a button. I had to press the cross button in order to try to go one way or another or try to dodge back or dodge forward or whatever. And there's these different attacks that you can do, like plasma strikes, like plasma counters, and this and that. The timing of some of these, I could not really get like adjusted, like my brain around and stuff. And so I end up just pressing the L2 button, which would automatically go and perform like a different special because, well, trying to execute some of the other ones by the regular button command stuff, I couldn't figure out. I mean, I'm so used to playing like the Street Fighter and all this stuff, so I'm just doing the same type of quarter circles here, quarter circles there, and stuff. But on top of trying to work with the AI being kind of like cheap at the least, it was just kind of fun to go through the entire end and stuff because I did a little bit of save state stuff. I did like some quick saves because I think I only lost 2 matches or something, but I went back to the last save and allowed me to go through the complete arcade mode and stuff and get the true ending to Hayato's initial thing. Yeah, Hayato is the main character for Plasma Sword. He is included inside of like the character roster for Marvel's Capcom 2, so that's the familiarity I have with him. But yeah, the game is really weird. The combat's all right. You know, it's I still need to get used to it by playing some other characters and try to get a little bit of load up. But with Power Stone 2 being completed, that means I have 3 fighting games left. So Plasma Sword is one. Project Justice is another one. And that one is a really rare, obscure Dreamcast game. That one was up there in terms of cost, the same thing as with another Capcom game that's very obscure, Cannon Spike. Cannon Spike is like 300 plus, at least on the used market. And whenever you go through like eBay auctions and try to buy that game, it could be fairly expensive complete in box. Yeah, with Project Justice, it was the same thing up until this Capcom collection came out and stuff. And so you got a chance to play with rival school characters, say like with Batsu and this and that, you know. I do have a little bit of nostalgia for rival schools and Project Justice, and that's because I used to see the advertisements for these games inside of the copies of EGM or GamePro way back in the mid to late 90s. So it's like seeing these different characters and like I remember this one character by the name of Tiffany inside of rival schools where she had this scantily clad like kind of like a bikini or something like that, but one of her attacks she goes and she jumps into the arms of the opponent or something and kisses them.
Hmm.
That is something that I remember way back when I was like 9 years old. I remember that was something that went on instead of a Capcom game.
Grew up real fast.
But what's that?
Grew up real fast.
Truly, I did when I was that age.
What
But still,
the
it
hell's
was
going on down
like.
there?
But at the same time, though, I did tinker around a little bit with Project Justice. The combat stuff is really fun. Obviously, you have one character you control, but you could use the other two like assists in terms of, say, MVC2, but not as fast and frantic. And there is a triple team attack as well that you could just hold down both, I think, shoulder buttons, or there's some sort of button combination you could do in order to execute a triple attack. But my plan is to finish up a plasma sword, go on to Project Justice, and then I'm saving Capcom versus SNK2 for last because that one is the one I'm most excited to play. But at the same time, I kind of want to finish off the other ones because if I don't, I'm not going to go back to the other ones.
Fair enough. Good idea.
uh, but yeah, that's pretty much it for what I've been playing for this week.
All right. Well, I think, excuse me. Think that the power rate come back to me now. I think that'll wrap it up for the week, guys. Thank you guys so much for listening, watching, wherever you're doing. We appreciate it. If you guys click on the buttons, the likes, the follows, the subscribes, the 5 stars, the comments, all that, shares, really would help us out a lot. Like I said, we are 2 guys with full-time jobs that we just do this for fun because we love it. And then we will be back next week for probably a lot more than we normally do because there's a lot going on. And then also we'll be playing some Switch 2, hopefully. Maybe I'll be playing 3 Switch 2s at the same time. Who knows? But anyways, I was Tyler.
And I have been Colonel Gables. So until next time, everyone, thank you very much for listening to another fun-filled episode of the Drunk-Nerds podcast.
Gables is looking to see if his Walmart order shipped or not.
Actually, that's exactly what I'm doing because I got the pop-up for the freaking email and also the Walmart app is like, oh, you got to confirm your payment options. I'm like, what? No.
Oh, yeah. Do that right now. Do that. Yeah. We'll wait. But anyways, thank you guys so much for checking us out. We threw off the intro. Oh, yeah. Gables. Too sweet.
Too sweet, man.
Bye, guys.
See ya.